What's up everyone and welcome to a new Minecraft tutorial. I'm TheCactusMonkey and today I'm showing you a crop farm that works for all crops in the game except pumpkins and melons because they need to grow to another block. And this farm is stackable upwards forever until you reach build limit. Here you can see we have carrots and wheat right now. You can also have potatoes and then beetroot, and that's the crop that works. And you can also change the dirt to soul sand and put nether warts on top. Because this farm is quite big, it's quite hard to say the exact amount of blocks that you need, but this is the rough amount you will need. So some explanation: these iron blocks can be any block of your choice and they are only for the bottom layer, or if you want to build the glass in any other blocks. These 40 glass blocks is only one ring, so the more layers you have, the more blocks of this choice you need. The chest and hoppers are needed down below to pick up the items, and the water buckets are so the land will get fertilized. And down at the bottom here you can see everything we need for one layer. So you need to hoe the dirt, and you need 2 stacks of dirt, sea lanterns to light up the area, water that will flush out all the crops, a slab, an observer, and a dispenser. And a quick notice: smooth stone slab can be any type of slab, any type of glass pane, any type of fence, any type of walls, and iron bars. So let's see this farm in action. To activate this farm each time, you need to activate this observer down here. So I use that using a flint and steel this time. You can see all the crops got flushed down, and later the water also got removed because the fire probably went out or it changed state. So therefore I don't recommend to use a flint and steel. A thing that I like to use is a lever. So you put the lever there and then you flick it. Now you don't have any water, as you can see. And the next time when you flick it, you will have water everywhere. So this is a little bit easier to know. And you may wonder, when do we flick off this lever? When you see that all crops are getting down here, then you can flick it off and the water can get removed. Sadly, there are no way to automatically plant crops yet, so you will need to do this manually. And how to get up and down here, you might want to do something in the wall, maybe a door or something, where you can get into all the layers and plant the crops. As you can see here, I like to build this a little bit over ground so you can get in below here and get all the crops. And therefore we will start about 2 to 3 blocks above, place a lever. On top of that lever you want to place an observer with a face downwards, then a dispenser, a slab, or a fence that I said earlier. And then you want to do this pattern on all the layers you want. So this is 4 layers. You can see all the slabs are 1 layer, and inside the dispenser you want to place a water bucket. And if you want to, you can test this. So you can see we can activate all the water, and then we can deactivate all the water, and you can see everything gets removed nice and easy. So in the dispenser height, you want to build out 7 blocks to all the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You want to do that on all the sides, and then you want to make a diagonal here between those two here, like so. Then you should have a shape that looks something like this, and now we want to repeat this all the way upwards. And there we go. We now have 4 platforms, and you can see that you are able to go in here and replant the crops. When you have done this much, we want to place in the water so we can make this farmland and not dirt. And to do that, I place in any block of your choice here with lanterns or glowstone in between, so we get some light on the crops. After you have placed in all the light like this, you now have a place to put your water up here. But before we do that, we want to have something that catches the water down below so it doesn't flow out. You want to be 2 blocks below the dirt like this and go in a zigzag formation around this. And you can see I'm following the dirt. So it's quite simple to do. You just continue this pattern all the way around. Then you should have something that looks like this, but you can still see that the water is not contained. So on the inside here, we want to place some glass blocks. You can also continue that block downwards if you want to. You also need to continue those blocks down that we placed earlier up here with the sea lanterns on top. And now we have the inner part contained, and now it's just to contain the outer part as well. And you can now see that we have contained everything on the outside as well. It should look something like this when you are doing it as well. And before we put in the water, we want to put in our hoppers and simply place down chests in these holes here and go onto the outside and place hoppers facing into the back of the chests. And there we go. So now we have the containing area for the water done, and therefore we can place in the water going down, and if everything is right, it should flow into the hopper, as you can see there. And there we go. You can now see that the water is clearly going into the hoppers. You can also test this by throwing in a random item. You can see it gets picked up. Now we are pretty much done. It's just to till all the land here, so you get a nice area to put all your crops on. And this is how it should look like when you have tilled all the land. You can now see it's getting the darker part, so we can put in our seeds later. But before we do that, we need to do the wall around this area, because otherwise the crops that gets flushed out from this level would flow out far out, and therefore not getting caught into the hoppers. They will be outside here instead. So start building up your walls, and these walls should go up so we have a little edge here. If you make it like this, then the items can fly over this edge here. So make it 1 block higher than the tilled land. And we are using glass here because we want to get the daylight in at the daytime, so the crops will grow faster and better, and therefore you will get more crops to harvest. And I've tested the rate of this farm for carrots and wheat, and you get about 4.5 stack per layer of carrots, or 1.5 stack of wheat per layer. And there we go. You can now see, while we have been building up the outer wall here, almost all the farmland have been fertilized, or this darker color, and it's now ready for you to plant in everything. Before we end this video off, we will test the potatoes and see how much crops we will get when we harvest them. So flick the lever, the water will go out. You can see all the potatoes are flying down. It will soon get into the water streams here and get collected. Then you can remove this. All the water is getting removed, and the potatoes will come into the chest. And this is how much potatoes we got. We got 6 full stacks plus 40 and 4 poisonous potatoes, so those we can throw out. But otherwise I think this is a really good harvest. And that is going to be it for today's tutorial, everyone. If you liked it, then please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe so not miss more of these tutorials. I have my Minecraft tutorials playlist and Minecraft 101, where I cover all these tutorials in one playlist. And where download is down in the description as always, and I will see you around later, so see you and goodbye.